Alright guys, so you are going to be taking your test today on homeostasis. This was the bookwork that I asked you to do yesterday and to turn it on Canvas. So I just kind of want to go over these answers. So I just took these questions and I just put them inside this PowerPoint. Okay. So I know the first question is compare and contrast active transport and facilitated diffusion. So just looking here, I've got the two pictures. So the biggest thing, what is the same between these two? And what's the same is that they both transport material in and out of the cell membrane. The other thing that's the same is they both have proteins. They both need them in order to work. So what is different? Active transport requires ATP. So they've got to have this ATP to actually function. But facilitated diffusion does not require any ATP. So that's definitely different. This is active transport and facilitated diffusion is passive transport. Okay, facilitated diffusion can go from a high concentration to a low. That's the only way it can go, is high to low. Same thing over here, it can go high to low. But active transport, it can actually go both directions and go high to low and low to high. So here it's going from a low concentration to a higher concentration. So it's going up. Keep in mind it can go up and it also can go down. So it can kind of go both directions. But that is the answer to number one, compare and contrast active transport. Okay, number two. How do carrier proteins facilitate passive transport of molecules across the membrane? It's a lock and key method, remember? Only certain proteins can get across the membrane. And those proteins can be a channel protein that allow things to come through it. And that could be for your passive transport, allowing things to come through it. And sometimes that protein can only fit certain molecules, so then it can only bring in this type of molecule through the protein. So even though it's passive, it can once again only go from high to low, but the protein can dictate what comes in that particular protein because it's like a key. Only certain molecules can go through certain proteins. Okay, number three. How does a paramecium, and a paramecium is just a single-celled organism, expel water when the organism is surrounded by fresh water? So first off, expel means to have water leave it. So what can you deduce? That means what can you conclude about the concentration gradient of the environment? So here's the water, and this paramecium is in the water. Let's make it a smile. And it is losing water. Well, the only way this paramecium could lose water is if it's sitting in a hypertonic solution. And what you have to remember about hypertonic is that there's a higher water concentration inside than outside. So water's going to go from high to low. That means this water has a low water concentration, which is weird because it's water, right? But it's a low water concentration because there is so much solute. Maybe it's a really dirty pond. Maybe it's Pioneer Pond. And it has tons of solute. And that could be dirt particles, it could be algae particles, it could be fish particles, whether it's poop or living material, whatever it is. It has such high solute that the paramecium actually has a higher water concentration. All right, number four, sketch a before and after diagram of an animal cell placed in hypotonic. So this is what it looks like before, and after it gets into hypotonic, this is what it looks like after, because it gained tons of water. Hypo, the hippo, it gets bigger. Okay, so now it's just matching up some vocab. So homeostasis, This is maintaining a stable internal state. Does that sound right? So let's go ahead and put C here. Okay, the cell membrane. This acts as a barrier, helping control what comes in and out. So that should be D. All right, concentrations. A measure of the amount of solute in a given solution. So that's concentration. Okay, passive transport. The transport of substances without the use of energy is A. Active transport. Let's find this one. Right here. Diffusion of molecules high to low or low to high with energy. Okay, osmosis. We got to find the diffusion of water from high to low concentrations. Okay, facilitated diffusion. So remember, that's passive transport and it requires proteins. So let's see where that one is. Diffusion from high to low with the use of a protein. Perfect. And cell stability, when a cell is constantly trying to maintain homeostasis. Okay, if there's anything else in your notes packet, I just go back, review through it. Then when you're ready, go ahead and take your test. All right, good luck.